Mediology. This is it. It is finally done. My brand new studio is finally completely unpacked and completely organized. This thing took me like a month, but let me tell you why. So it didn't take me long to unpack it. Like, I unpacked it in, I think, 2 days. So the unpacking didn't take any time at all. However, the organizing took forever. For one thing, I was only working in very small bursts of time. I didn't spend like hours in here at a time. I would come up for, 15-20 minutes here and there, an hour, maybe 2 hours at the top, at tops. But like, I didn't spend significant amounts of time in here except for 2 days. There were 2 days that I was pretty much in here for at least 3 hours at a stretch. Other than that, it was just little bursts of time. So it took me a long time, a month. It took me a month. So the other reason it took so long is because I wanted to completely reorganize everything. Because in my old studio, it was so tiny and I was so crammed. I was very, very limited on how I was able to organize things and where I was able to put things. So a lot of stuff was just kind of in a drawer just to get it out of the way. It wasn't really organized. Here I have the space to spread out and actually display my art and my supplies. So I wanted to take my time and really set it up really nicely. It's still not exactly what I wanted because I did want to paint all of my stuff in here so that it all matched. I wanted to paint it a pretty teal color. However, I can't find that color paint, so that's not gonna happen. So I am still stuck with it all being kind of mismatched because I love the thrift store and I got all this stuff at the thrift store. But whatever, it still looks great. I'm really happy with the way it's organized now. Everything has a place. I know exactly where to go lay my fingers on everything, which I did in my old studio. However, I was like this, reaching for everything. I couldn't move my fucking chair for one thing because I would bump into something behind me and I just didn't have the space. I actually have less stuff in this studio, but it's organized much better because I have a closet and I have a more open space here. So I took my time, I went through every single drawer, I went through every little shelf, I went through every little thing and organized. And I had jars, because I was going to decorate with jars. I thought I would want everything on shelves in jars. But then I thought, no, that's a lot of fucking jars. So you saw the video, the previous video of me unpacking. Like, I was going through each one of my individual little jars and separating that out further and further organizing everything. So now it's completely organized. I feel so much freer in this room. Like, you would not believe the difference that this space makes for me. Like, I just feel so much more open and free here. So yeah, it's done. It's completely organized. I'm really, really happy with it. I still have a couple of little things that I have to do. Like, I have to hang I have a Wicked towel. I have to hang that on the door. I have to fix a couple of my art pieces that were broken in the move, so they're just kind of laying around for right now. But other than that, it's all done. Like, the supplies themselves are completely organized and put away. So I'm extremely happy. And now I can start catching up on the other things that I haven't done, like shooting videos and writing blog posts and setting challenges and swaps in my group. So really happy about that. Speaking of my group, that group is going to start hopping now because there will be 2 swaps per month plus 1 to 2 challenges per month. So maybe a drawing challenge or, try something new, some new technique or something. So I'm going to be posting challenges. I have 2 swaps running right now. Today is July 28th. So you have until August 1st to sign up for the travel ATC swap. And then I just posted a new swap for August. It's a quick swap. It's just running until August 15th. It's an August inchy swap. And I just posted a new challenge for sewing. So come check that group out. It's Mixed Mediology Swaps and Challenges on Facebook. Just type in Mixed Mediology. It'll come up. It should come up anyway. I'm like the only Mixed Mediology that I know of. So you'll either get my artist page or my Facebook group. That's the two things that'll come up if you type in mixed mediology. And I'll post a link down below too. So come join the group if you want to join swaps and challenges. There's no pressure. There's never any pressure to ever join any swap, but they're posted and you're free to join any swaps that you want to. And it's a really good group of people. So, okay, enough about all that. Come with me and take a tour of my brand new studio. Okay, so this is standing at the top of the stairs leading into my studio. And here it is. It's all finished. Finally. Oh, man, it took so long, but I'm so proud of it. So I figured I would just give you a quick tour of the whole room and then kind of tell you a little bit about each section. So I'm just going to give you kind of like a quick spin all the way around the room. And then I'll go back and tell you about what I have where. Okay, so this is the door where the wicked towel is, and that's actually got to be velcroed up there still. I can't put holes in the doors, so I'm going to velcro that panel on the door there. And then when we close this door, we have the full closet. It goes all the way to the ceiling, and that is my ribbon wall. So this is all of my yarn and ribbon, and I took a small curtain rod and hung it up there, and it's just slipped through the little handles for the top door, and then I looped the ribbon and yarn over the curtain rod, and some of it's just folded in half and laid over the top, but some of it's kind of tied on there a little bit better just with a simple loop so that it doesn't fall off. So that's all of my long strips of yarn and ribbon. So I have my dress form here, and this is actually my dad's guitar strap. If you remember a few episodes ago, I posted a video of my dad singing. It was just music of him. So that was his actual guitar strap, and I just unhooked it. Dang it! Alright, so I've got to put that back. Anyway, and my Wicked Witch hat. Then inside the closet, on the bottom side, oh, see, I have to move that panel. Okay. So remember, my clothes have to come in here because my clothes don't fit in our closet upstairs. So that's my hanging clothes. And then in here I have one tote. The lid is actually outside, but this is a tote full of batting and fabric and stuffing materials, things like that for making clothes and making dolls and what have you. And then I have a tote, I have a tote here. This black tote is full of cookbooks. I don't know if you can see it in there, but it's full of cookbooks and specialty magazines like Halloween recipes, Christmas recipes, Thanksgiving recipes, the little you know, specialty magazines that you can buy only at the holidays, so that's full of that. And then up here in the top is all of my stuff for altering. So all of those random baby dolls that I have, all of the extra heads that I've got. Oh, you can't really see. Hold on, let me move this a little bit better. There we go. So those extra mannequin heads are up there, some bottles for altering. My Dremel also sits in here. But way back in there is all of the dolls that I have to alter. And then a couple of little canvases that I had already put all the rest of them away before I found those, and I wasn't climbing back on a ladder just to put those 2 little canvases away. So that's what's here in the right-hand door of the closet. Then on the left-hand door are more hanging clothes. This is more winter stuff. The other side was like my summer stuff. Then I have 2 more totes sitting here. You can still see the gray tote with the fabric is right there. That's the one that you saw on the other side. And then I have 2 more totes right here, both of fabric. And then this little pile right here is stuff that I have to put into that tote, one of those totes. So that's a little bit more fabric right there. And then on this side, I have, oh, I'm out of focus. I have a large tote full of magazines. That's all of my Somerset Studio and those kinds of magazines. And then this section is still completely empty. Don't know what I'm gonna put there yet. If anything, it may just stay empty because I could actually rearrange the other side a little bit better and spread those things out, like move the dolls over to their own section and then push the mannequin heads back and just have more storage right here on the right hand side. Now up in the very top, I'm going to set the camcorder up and open the doors and show you from across the room. So to open the top part of the closet, I can either slide the door or I can simply pull the curtain rod down. But for today, I'm just going to slide the door. So up here, I have clothes that don't go in the drawers or in the closet. I have a creepy bird cage that just kind of got stuck up there somehow and now I can't reach it, so it's staying there. I have all of my rocks and seashells for using in my artwork, and all of my canvases are also stacked here. You can't see them, but the big ones all run along the wall there, and then these little ones just sit up in the front so that I can reach them much easier. Okay, on the other side, I have more things that we don't use right now so they can just stay boxed. This is just storage up here. And then this box is actually scrapbooking stuff, things that I need to scrapbook. So my paper and stuff is all out already, but that's like the box of mementos that need to be scrapbooked at some point. Even though I'm not a scrapbooker, they'll just get stuck into a book, but that's where they get stored for right now. So there you have the closet. Then moving on over to the right, I have this plastic drawer thingy here. And each drawer is for something. So this is where all of my little ATCs and my ATC envelopes and little teeny tiny miniature canvases go, and all of my tags. And I have some paint swatch samples in here. So all of these kinds of things, these are more tags. All of these things go in here. This drawer is jewelry making supplies and also mark making tools, like for my jelly plates, or you know, just mark making tools, like to dip something in paint and then make circles or whatever. All of those tools are in here. Also my awl is in here. The next drawer is my pan pastels. Oops. Pan pastels and some of my clay making tools, the larger clay making tools that don't really fit anywhere else. Then coming down into the larger drawer, this is a drawer full of random crap. So this is actually some stuff to alter, a ton of large plastic gears that I would use in altering. These are all things to use in altered projects. This drawer contains extra paintbrushes, extra glue, my sponges, a ton of these IKEA measuring tapes. This drawer is all glitter, and my little glitter tray. This one is all chipboard pieces and die cut pieces, and some stickers because I don't really have a lot of stickers, so I just stuck them in here because I don't have enough of them to make their own drawer. But it's all the die cut letters and die cut shapes and chipboard pieces. This drawer is another box of kind of random crap that doesn't really fit anywhere else, but it's large pieces of texture making materials and pretty baby wipes with paint on them that I will eventually use, and some clear plastic. They're actually page dividers or subject dividers. Big metal thing that I use for a stencil but may end up on a painting. This drawer is all of my scrapbooking type paper bits, all of the, let's see, and some more stickers. Some of the larger stickers are in here. All of this kind of stuff. Embellishments, some more chipboard. The larger pieces of chipboard really are down in here. I hope you can see that. I don't know, maybe not such a good angle, I'm not sure. But anyway, so yeah, that's larger pieces of chipboard. This, and oh, and also my scrapbook paper cutouts. So like, you know how you can buy the packages of paper butterflies and, you know, cutouts and things like that. Those are all in there as well. This drawer is feathers and felt and all of my natural materials. So I have some mica flakes in here. I have some little rocks, some colored rocks, feathers, you know, all of that kind of stuff. Cinnamon sticks, more natural type stuff. This box is all jewelry, like jewelry making, but also jewelry to rip apart and use. Next, we come over to the armoire. So I have a large painting up there, and then my altar. So I'm gonna kind of zoom in, but I don't know if you can really see what all is up there. So I've got some crystals and a large seashell, some goddess figures, and a few other things for my altar. That's the Elphaba doll that I made. And then down here is my more functional altar. The altar up there just stays built pretty much all the time, and that one I'll change out like seasonally. And this is more like a working altar down here that I can reach and use on a daily basis if I want to. It's also where I will probably, you know, light my candles and, you know, just have some ambiance here in the room. This drawer is all tape. Washi tape, duct tape, double-sided tape, paper tape, any kind of tape you can imagine. The only thing in this drawer is tape. So now looking inside the armoire, in the door here is where I have my sewing machine, all of my empty spray bottles, all of my empty cups and things that I use when I'm mixing resin, or, you know, when I'm mixing sprays, anything that I would use, you know, empty things that I need to make other things with. So I need empty spray bottles to put my sprays into. I need empty cups to mix my resin in. Then I've also got empty spools, like empty ribbon spools, that may or may not end up in a project. Again, my sewing machine. And then on the second shelf is my Big Shot, or my Big Kick, my die cutting machine, and all of my dies. Plus I have my homemade jelly plate and my wax paper and my cling wrap. Oops, wax paper and cling wrap here. In the top drawer I have foam paintbrushes. I have all of my heat tools, so like my little mini iron, my hot glue gun, the wax that goes with the hot glue, with the mini iron, whoops, crayons that I would melt, more hot glue. This is actually my Athame. A hammer, because I'm always building stuff basically. Some lavender that I use whenever I stuff dolls or stuff pillows of some sort. I can put lavender in there. Large files, just different. This is more like the industrial drawer here. This drawer, kind of a random crap drawer. It's stuff that doesn't really fit into any other containers. So I have some little dress forms, you know, vice, envelopes for mailing things, more empty glass bottles and jars that I can use to alter, candle jar lids, baby food jars, things like that that I can either use to alter or use in projects, but they're kind of big and bulky and they don't really fit into anything. This drawer is one of my favorite drawers because this is literally my random drawer of crap. It's actually organized though. So let's see if I can pull it out further here. So I've got the large stuff going around the outside edges here, so large things that don't really fit into containers. But here I have 4 of these. There's 2 here and 2 here, and they're kind of divided up. Let's see if I can show you. So I have 4 containers, and each container contains a different type of thing. So this one is just little random things, like little random toys and broken pieces and just, you know, weird shit that I found. This one is all little metal pieces, different, you know, just any random metal bits. Some of them are store-bought, but for the most part, this is all crap that I have found. Just weird random metal. So I have 4 of these, and each container is for something specific. I won't go down into the drawer and pull the other ones out, but they're divided up the same way. Then this drawer, the first large drawer, is for my other ribbon, like fringe ribbon, specialty ribbon, large strings of beads, all of my sewing patterns. These are sewing patterns that I actually use the patterns for, not to just rip up and use for backgrounds. But also my, all of my, what's it called? Embroidery floss. All of my embroidery floss is in here, and short bits of ribbon, stuff that wouldn't really hang well because it's just not long enough. So all of my short bits of ribbon are in here. And then over here I've got some large spools of ribbon and more beads and different things like that. Inside the box is a bunch of fabric scraps. So I have one of those plastic totes, and that's all my little fabric scraps, all nice and containing. And this is some, not large, but not this small, like it's not scraps, but it's not large enough to put into a fabric box either. Pieces of fabric here. And then finally the bottom drawer is actually the messiest drawer because there's just only so much I can do with this drawer. I kind of gave up on this one. So this is all of my clay and mold making stuff. So all of these boxes back here are resin, and all of these packages are paper clay back here. And then this is amazing mold putty. Oh, and this is gel medium. Some plastic molds that I've got, wire for making armatures. All of my clay is down here. More amazing mold putty. Oops, that flipped over. And then all of the molds that I've made. Oops. These are all of my amazing mold putty molds. So all of my molds go down to the bottom of that drawer. Next, beside the armoire, I have some totes. Down there on the very bottom, the one with the pink lid is all faux flowers. The one above that is all zippers and sewing notions and things like that. The next one up is all little wooden bits, little empty thread spools, little wooden balls, wooden dowels, things like that. The next one up with the white lid is sewing supplies, so my needles, my thread, my seam ripper, my scissors, my rotary tool, all of those things. This tote here, more really random bits of crap that I still am not sure where to put. I don't know, it's mostly for my inchies. So it's mostly holiday themed stuff and little itty bitty things for inchies. And so it fits in that tote. I don't really need to put it in a drawer. It can all stay together because I would use it all at the same time. Then I have my large sewing rulers and my craft mat there. Next is my shelves. So all of the artwork on these shelves is artwork that I have done, with the exception of this shelf here. This shelf right here is stuff that other people have made for me or sent to me or that I've won. So up on the top are some of my paintings, and then coming down below are more paintings, and then, you know, just some of the art pieces that I've done. Everything on those shelves, like I said, is stuff that I've made. Below that, dog bed and my stack of books. Starting on the far end, I've got all of my journals, and then my paper pads, like my watercolor paper, my Bristol paper, things like that. Then going into transparencies and vellum. Then getting into my art books, so technique books, and basically learning books, learning how to do different techniques and things in art. Then some of my favorite art magazines for inspiration. Then beside that is where my scrapbooking paper starts. So I've got some clear plastic 12 by 12 envelopes for individual pieces of scrapbooking paper, and then beside those are my 12 by 12 paper pads. Then going into sheet music, and then old books, both for just ripping out, you know, pages to use in backgrounds or embellishments. Then next I have journals that I will alter, and then the blue binder right there and the black binder right there are both full of stamps. So the blue binder has my little stamps and the black binder has my large stamps. And then my bookends are actually terracotta bricks. I don't really know what they are, but they're terracotta bricks. I think they're supposed to go like out in a flower bed to line a flower bed, but they were perfect for me. So then I have another painting that I've done, and a picture of my grandmother, my feather boas, and pretty fabric above the window. And now we come to my desk. So my desk is basically where I put everything that I use on a regular basis. So on top of my desk, obviously, is my computer. This is my pile that I'm currently working with. So this is a folder with information about things to do here in Italy, my Italian language lesson book. This is my smash book for the year. This is my writing journal for the year. And this is just information that I've picked up and things that I need to do something with this week. And then the book that I'm currently reading. Here I have a bunch of jars with all of my paintbrushes and pencils and pens and, you know, weird random shit. My rulers, all of that kind of stuff. Everything that I just need to grab constantly. Also my glue sits here. My paint water jars, my spray bottle, a candle because I light a candle pretty much every time I come in here. Some lotion. My palette and my heat gun. And then my tripod actually usually sits right there and focuses down on my desk. So then looking into the desk drawers, this is, first of all, this is stuff that I need to work with. So, you know, anytime I need to take a note or whatever, I need a paper pad. Just little love notes that I can leave around for my husband and my son, tags and ATC papers that I'm currently working with. Another couple of journals that I write in on occasion. All of my glue goes in here, my glue that I constantly reach for, so my E6000 is always in here. I have a glue stick in here. I have a little tacky glue thing in here. But then also, any ATCs or inchies that I receive go into this drawer for now, because I'm actually going to make a journal to put them all in. So this is all the ATCs that I've received. I haven't made the journal to put them into yet. And that's my inchies right there. That's the pocket that I made for the inchies. So yeah, that's what that is. The second drawer down is another drawer that I go to all the time. So this is all of my stamping stuff, with the exception of the ink. The ink is not in here. Well, there are a couple, but all of my stamps, so this is all alphabet stamps here. All of these and all of these are all alphabet stamps. Paper towels and baby wipes, which I constantly reach for. Gold foil, which I don't really use a whole lot, but I want to use it, so I stuck it in here so I would always see it and be reminded to use it. A little bit of ink, one large ink pad. This is my black ink pad that I always go to, and then my Stays On Black, which is another one that I always go to, and my acrylic block. And then this, this is all baby wipes, this large stack. I use one baby wipe every single day to clean something. I just have to wipe it down, so I just put the baby wipe in here, and that way I always have baby wipes. And then all of my rubber gloves. I have a box full of rubber gloves here. This tote is my chalk pastels and my oil pastels. There are a couple of pencils in here right now just from the move. I stuck them in here to get them out of my way for the move. These actually go into another container. I need to pull them out now so I don't forget. But that's all my chalk pastels and oil pastels. Whew, this video is longer than I thought it was going to be. Sorry. Okay, next drawer. This drawer is also kind of messy. Again, there's only so much I can do with this drawer because I'm constantly in here and rifling through it, so it gets jumbled. I have to rearrange this drawer probably once every 2 weeks or so. So this is all of my stencils, basically. So all of these are just different stencils. I have doilies in here. Also, this is where my watercolor paper that I constantly grab. This is where that watercolor paper pad is. More stencils, tissue paper, bubble wrap, things that I use a lot in projects that I just need to be able to grab. I have small amounts of it here in this drawer. This book here is full of stencils, so all of this in here is all stencils. And then underneath that is my what are they called? Patterns, sewing patterns that I use to rip up and use in backgrounds or whatever. Mark making tools. This drawer is my necessities. So I've got fingernail files and chapstick, sticky notes, whiteout, flash drive, erasers, all of my palette knives go in here, stapler, staple remover, my, what is this called? Chamois? Yeah, that thing, my corner maker, my hole punch, my gelatos, a couple of other tools in there. And then over here, this is my go-to drawer for mark making. So my punchinella, my bubble wrap, a few small stencils that I like to use a lot, a big sponge, my scissors are right here, my X-Actos go in here, my mini misters, my credit cards, all of those things that I use a lot. Also my little tiny sponge brushes, more mark making tools, my sponge for my distress inks. See, now I'm starting to get tongue-tied. So this is all stuff that I go to a lot. This drawer is paints and mediums and my palettes. Again, this drawer gets messy. Like I have to rearrange this one at least twice a week as well. So all of my little palettes go in here. Tall things that won't really fit on the shelf also kind of go in here. So my fabric glue, my E6000 spray, my large spray bottles, all of that goes in here. But this is just some of the paint that I constantly reach for. So I'm always reaching for white, always reaching for my glazing liquid, I'm always reaching for gel medium and my brayer. So those things stay right in there. And finally, this drawer is my towels for cleanup, a t-shirt for like buffing and wiping paintings down. This is my Neocolor 2 bag. Down here I've got gouache and chalk pastels, watercolor paints. Oops, I'm kind of on the wrong side here. My Prisma sticks, chalk pastels, and then this bag is my Prismacolor pencils and my Inktense pencils. I can't zip it back up. And this bag here is all of my markers. So I don't have, I mean I have a lot of markers, but I don't have a lot of markers. That just didn't even make any sense. I don't have like the, oh, what the hell are they called? You know, the markers that everybody's into. I'm not into those. But I do have all of my markers in here. And then on this side I've got some more chipboard pieces and some, my doilies and those kinds of things are right there. My easel sits here in the corner, and that's my lighting for whenever I take my photos. This is the piece of wood that used to be on my desk. My really large containers of stuff, my really large gel medium, my really large gesso, my really large spackle paste, all that stuff kind of sits down there. And last but not least is the top of the dresser. So in the dresser is my clothes. Oh, I'm dropping the camera. But on top of the dresser is basically my paint station. So up on the top I have my Scrabble tiles and those little triangular dominoes, but the first shelf, that's all of my mediums. So Flow Aid, iridescent medium, gel medium, tar gel, glazing medium, anything that I would need is on that shelf. And then I'm coming down into my paints. These are all of my Liquitex basics, excuse me, my Soho acrylics, those kinds of paints there. And I did it in the rainbow. So it goes Roy G. Biv all the way down, the colors of the rainbow. Then my iPod and more tiles. I have to have music in here. So actually my iPod is downstairs because I was downstairs earlier today. So my iPod travels with me. I have a dock downstairs and a dock upstairs. Then I have my glitter. I have a large thing of glitter. So I have the glitter drawer, and then I also have this tray of glitter. I'm a little bit obsessed with glitter. This is all of my graphite pencils right here. And then on the top of the second shelf, this is all Distress ink. This is all Distress ink, and this is a couple of other kinds of ink. Then I have my golden fluid acrylics and all of my Liquitex soft body paints. Then all of my alcohol inks. This is my Pearl-Ex powders and all of my Lumiere paints, my favorites. These are my golden high flow. This is all acrylic ink and also my Distress ink refillers. This is embossing powder. A couple of embossing powders that wouldn't fit, but then everything else is like my Pearl-Ex powders. More glitter. These are my super duper large glitters. More glitter. back in there and in there. And then these are the little tubes of paint that I had with me in Virginia. So they're just sitting up here, so I'll use them first. Then this is all my spray inks, so it goes all the way back with spray inks. This is all crackle and rust activator and weathered wood and that kind of texture stuff. This is all glue, although I do have some wood icing in here, but other than that, it's all glue. So crystal lacquer, Mod Podge, things like that. This is a distress shelf, so there's distress crackle, there's Adirondack re-inkers, there's distress stain, there's distress paint, dabbers, stickles, all that stuff. This is all dye, so in the very back there is the dye that goes into my resin. This is all RIT dye, this is food color, more RIT dye. This shelf here is kind of a hodgepodge of all kinds of stuff. So there's some spray ink in there. There is some airbrush paint in here. There's fingernail polish that I actually use in paintings. Some little paper flowers. And then this is where all of my Matisse Flow paints are. And then I have a few little tiny tubes of gouache. Oops. That I'm now messing up. So I have a few tiny tubes of gouache that also sit there. Oh, and then I have a really large tube of that one, so it kind of goes there too. And then, oh, this is my Sicily scrapbook. So I've got some journaling in there, and this is more like a smash book. I don't scrapbook, but I smash, so that's that. This is for when we travel and actually go out and do fun stuff. And then this container is full of random crap, but it is fairly organized. So I have a large couple of jars here of big pieces that wouldn't fit into these little tiny drawers. Have another one here, but then all of these little drawers. So this is little metal pieces, more little metal pieces. This is washers and springs and screws, little metal letters, BBs and coins, glitter, empty little jars. This is all watch parts. This is all locks. This is all washers, or they look like gears to me, so all my gears are in there. Light bulbs, miniature dominoes, oops, gems. This is all my little bling pieces, key rings, inchy stuff, brads, large beads, like really large beads, little tiny Christmas lights. This is just little random, like I use these lentils as beads sometimes, so that's that. Natural stuff, like stuff that I don't want to get broken. Game pieces, game pieces, game pieces, game pieces, empty wooden letters and numbers, pin nibs, game pieces, game pieces, game pieces, game pieces, jingle bells. These are all empty. All these are empty. And then down here, little random game pieces and toys. All of my teeny tiny flowers. Bigger light bulbs. All keys. This is all keys. Nothing but keys. And then in here, more game pieces. And some little wooden flower-like pieces and some plastic flower pieces. So there you have it. And the fabric, this fabric here, and the fabric that's covering my armoire here, and the fabric that's up there is all the fabric that I bought in Bahrain and still haven't made anything with. Oh, and a picture of my grandparents. So there you have it. That is the full walking tour of my brand new studio here in sunny Sigonella, Sicily. I hope you enjoyed this tour. Sorry it was a little bit long, but I really hope it inspired you to decorate your studio, or maybe gave you some organizing ideas or some decorating ideas for how to set up your art studio. If you have any questions about anything you saw, any ways I stored anything or anything you saw here, just leave it in the comment section below and I will answer you as soon as possible. If you like what I do here, then don't forget to hit that little subscribe button. That way you don't miss any of this random crap, and you get to see all the cool projects that I do and get to see all of my adventures and do all that fun stuff. And then you can share it and tell your friends so they can hang out with us too. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you next time. Mwah!